helping make your life easier. Moms Every Day.
Welcome to Moms Every Day. I'm Katie Wilson. Today we have Reverend Greg Creasy with St. Mary's Medical Center. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here again.
Yeah, we love having you. We're talking about a pretty serious topic today. Really something that almost everyone deals with at least once in their life, and that's grief. You see, unfortunately, death and destruction almost every day in the news. And even though so many people go through it, a lot of people struggle dealing with it and sort of navigating grief. So I think one of the questions that people have when they're going through this is, you know, will this ever pass? Like, will I ever get over this?
I always tell people probably not, that grief stays with us always, because we're different people once we experience that loss and experience that grief. And what I like to try to help people do is to learn how to live with that grief in their life, so it becomes a new day. We've had this loss, now how do we live with the experience of that loss in our lives? And, you know, the memory of our loved one, or the memory of maybe what we were like before an accident or something, is always going to be there with us. And so learning to live with that and to be able to live productively and independently is a thing we try to work for when we do grief counseling.
Absolutely. And you mentioned grief counseling. Why is it so important to sort of flesh these emotions out and talk about them rather than just kind of keeping this all to yourself? Yeah,
it's really important. I like to use the illustration of a balloon, that if you have a balloon and you keep putting air in it, at some point it's going to pop. And you know, that can be scary. It can be messy if there, you know, if there's something, you know, something involved there. So just like a balloon, if we let some air out, you can put more in, you let some out, put more in. I think it's important to talk about grief and to talk about the things you're feeling, because when you do that, it lets some of that out and you release some of that. And I think in releasing that, you learn to deal with it in some ways, and it helps you to deal with it in a greater way.
Absolutely. And I know St. Mary's does have grief counseling. It's called Navigating Grief, correct?
Right. We do a grief support group called Navigating Grief 4 times a year, and the next one starts next Monday. At 6:30, it's going to be at the St. Mary's Hospitality House, which is on Staunton Avenue, right on our property, kind of the back corner of our property. The information's up there, but yeah, it runs for 4 weeks. And you can call and sign up by just calling our department at 304-526-1188. Or you can just show up that first night. I mean, we welcome people just to show up that first night. But we're doing that as a way to help our community engage in this understanding of grief. How do we deal with these emotions? But I think the other thing that happens is that people meet other people in the same situation they're in, and it's really helpful when they can meet somebody else who's feeling the same things.
So does this cost money? No,
it's free to the public. It's free to anyone in our community, and so we invite people to come out. If you're maybe you've experienced a loss just recently, you know, come out now. Maybe it's been several months and you're still feeling some of these things. Come out, and we'd love to have you a part of the group.
Okay, wonderful.
Great.
And I know you've been doing this for a while now. So
yeah, just over 2 years, and we've seen a lot of people that, you know, have just come to terms with, say, you know, it's nice to know that I'm not feeling alone in the feelings I'm having. We've had people develop relationships that have been very helpful to them as they continue on in this journey in life. So yeah, it's been something we've seen a lot of success in.
Okay, and I think it's great that you mentioned, you know, some people may not get the courage to go to grief counseling, but if they meet a friend through this, they have that other outlet that they can go to as well. It may seem a little bit more informal.
Exactly. It is very informal. You know, it's an open group atmosphere. We encourage your participation, but I've had people just sit there and take everything in as well, because they need to hear some of these things before they can learn to respond to that and just release and talk about some of those things that they're feeling.
Absolutely. So running out of time, but real fast, let's just go over the date and the location again.
Next Monday, July 8th at the St. Mary's Hospitality House, and at 6:30. It runs about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. And if you want to register, just call our department at 304-526-1188.
Okay, well, Reverend, thank you so much. I think this could help a lot of people. So we're glad you're here with us. And again, you can watch us at WSEZ.com. Just click on the Moms Everyday tab. Have a great day.